Welcome to Paranormal Almanac with your host, Curt Sandvik.
Hey, howdy, hi. That's right. I'm your host, Curt Sandvik, and on this week's edition of Paranormal Almanac, let's only talk about frogmen. We're coming to you live from Studio City. I handed the keys in today, done with the, let's just call it crap hole, in Van Nuys, the worst place I ever lived. So very, very happy. I unboxed 12, 15 boxes or so. I'm slowly getting the tiki bar put together, slowly getting the bedroom put together, slowly getting enough room where Rum and I can actually walk around this place. But coming to you live from Studio City, and very happy to be doing it. All righty, let's get right on into shout-outs. I got a lot of stuff to get to and not a lot of time to do it. Shout-outs going out to the patrons. Here's something I want to do for the patrons. I think it's going to be a patron exclusive. I haven't really figured out all the details yet, but for the next episode, I want to have the Sean Bishop, since he's back in town, come over and just talk paranormal. Whatever he wants to talk about, UFOs, let's talk about them. Ghosts, let's talk about them. The mysterious deaths of multiple people connected to UFOs or the paranormal community. Let's talk about it. I don't know if it's going to be a patron exclusive or if it might be a regular episode and that, I'll make a longer version for the patrons. Haven't decided yet, but that's going to be the next episode. Now I just got to get Sean Bishop on board, which I know he will be. But shout outs to the patrons. Shout outs to Sea Blue 36. That's right. Shout out to a brand new patron, Sea Blue 36. Shout outs to Stephanie Todd, Sophie Alice, the Babsta, your local cryptid, which is interesting because I'm going to be talking about some local cryptids. Not local to me, but local nonetheless. Flory, Naughty Innuendo, Jen, Danny Darkcipher from Australia, Sarah Jane Oxley, Angie V, Lisa Cervantes, Curious Hedgehog, Diana, Mr. J, George Berg, Casey the Pitbull, and all the pups. Deb B, GC, Tracy, Newt MacGyver on it, B Melty, Avril, Loch Ness, not a monster, Stacy, Leviathan, Stiggy, and Chani the Pommy, hey howdy hi, JT, Doogie Whore, Mike G, Tracy B, Richard, Alec, Karen, Duran, Lori, Rebecca, and Stephen Scher, hey howdy hi. It's been a while. I really want to do another patron or maybe just another live episode now that I'm slowly settling in. I'm a lot more comfortable to do a live episode from this location than I was from Van Nuys. But I'd love to chat. I miss talking to all of you. Shout outs to Jane Ann, Jennifer, Heather G, Zuzus, What's It, Paula, Nico Sharon the Mouse, hey howdy hi, Mark and Tina, Tortuga, Alabama White Thang, Andy, Virginia Mailman, Tony the Magician, Vicky, Crow, Isabel, Jen, Amber, Tracy, Sandy, Paige, Couch, Scott, Andrea, Vanessa, If I Was the Devil, Elizabeth, Sherry, Art Muffin, Tim, East Clintwood, Kenneth, Alexandra, Zozo the Demon, Hayden, Cindy, Ashley, Robin, Lauren, and Phil Mangano. I saw them yesterday or the day before. Russell, Isabel, Audra, Dorian. Hey, buddy. Cindy, Jerry, Jeff, Lawrence, the Lawrence Strawn, Veronica, Autumn, Carolyn, Nanashi, Todd, Jamie, and Elijah Hendrickson, Dan, Laura Pitts, and the one, the only, the best, the Gamer Fan. With two special shout-outs, as always, to Joe Teague and to my boy Stitch. Always and forever. Yeah, I'm in. I moved, like I said, I moved the final box this past Friday. officially done with that chapter. I like to call Van Nuys the city that should burn in hell. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. It's just it was the worst, and I'm done with it. No, honestly, I manifested an amazing location, and that's coming up soon. I know I keep teasing manifestations, but it is a manifestation episode is coming up very soon. Fingers crossed. I have a couple of people that I want to interview in June. So fingers crossed that happens. I don't like to really broadcast it too much until it actually happens. Because I did have an interview fall through a couple weeks ago, but I'm still going to try and get him back on the episode or on the show. I really want to have some of the Ghost Girls cast on the show. Why? Oh, I don't know. You have to find out. I also want to have some other paranormal investigators on the show. I'm going to start doing a lot more interview episodes. Hopefully, that's the plan. We'll see if we can actually get to it. Hopefully, I can. But until then...
Ghosted demons that haunt the night. Strange objects fly through the sky. Shadow people are spending the night again. Black-eyed children knock on my door. A portal to hell opens in my room. Time travel man says the world is changing soon.
Don't fucking shoot Bigfoot.
Love this one, Buzz. First up, it's all over the news. Don't worry, I will do another deep dive into the next batch of UFO files. Do not worry. Some people really liked the deep dive I did. Some people absolutely hated it, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. Look, there hasn't been a lot yet that really has blown my mind. I've started reading the second batch, or looking at most of the videos, basically, photos and videos. Again, it's a lot of the same stuff that we've had, but every time there's going to be a little kernel or a little nugget or something that not everyone's heard. So that's what I'm going to try and find for this next batch, hopefully for the Sean Bishop episode, but we'll find out. Alrighty, up first, I was just talking about it. In the early evening hours on November 26th, 1977, the nightly independent television news broadcast signal was interrupted. People all across southern England were watching newscaster Andrew Gardner report on clashes in Rhodesia when an ominous deep buzzing sound, followed by a disconcerting, distorted voice that spoke for an interrupted 6 minutes, said, "This is the voice of Virillion, representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as lights in the sky. We speak to you now in peace and wisdom, as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth." That's right. A broadcast in 1977, November 26, 1977, from space, from UFOs. During the broadcast, it invited all of humanity to share in a great awakening as our planet passes into the new age of Aquarius. It warned of the disaster that would befall us if weapons of evil were not removed. We at the Ashtar Galactic Command thank you for your attention. We are now leaving the planes of your existence. May you be blessed by the supreme love and the truth of the cosmos. Yeah, no one knows what happened, why it happened. It was obviously a hoax, supposedly. Supposedly, not obviously. Supposedly a hoax. This is the odd part. 25 years before that broadcast, Ashtar had already shared a similar warning to an aerospace engineer and associate of Howard Hughes at his radio receiver he retrofitted into the giant 7-story rock roughly 150 miles into the desert outside of Los Angeles. They said they were from Ashtar again. So some people think, are these Ashtar broadcasts real? Curt here. Probably not. But what are they? Well, we don't know. But now people are thinking, Ashtar has spoken again? A new message called the Galactic Federation is imagined as a multi-species council overseeing the slow, messy maturation of worlds with Ashtar Command as its operational arm around Earth. The project is guided by elder beings associated with the star systems of Sirius, Arcturus, and the Pleiades, among others. Humanity in this telling is a seeded hybrid project whose awakening could tip the balance in a wider galactic war centered somewhere in the Orion constellation. The reason humanity has been kept in the dark so long is simple. Our evolution is the variable they can't fully imagine, or can't fully manage, and whose outcome will change everything. All right, cool. Where the hell you been since 77? Come on, man. You guys got to get more, current. No, that's not the right word. Just send more messages. Let's get on the ball. People, look, humanity sucks, all right? We're going to kill ourselves, so you got to keep it up. You can't do it every 50 years or so, or 20 years in between them at the very least. You got to get more steady, more quick with the messages. So what are they? Nobody knows. Who's doing it? Nobody knows. It's probably the same people. Nobody knows, but probably not. Yeah, it's weird. It's out there. People are talking about it. Who's doing it? I don't know. This news story, this paranormal news story, has no resolution. People don't know who's Ashtar, why they're doing it, but keep an eye out for Ashtar. I'm assuming now that they've moved to the web that we'll find them on, I don't know, probably Reddit. So, if you see anything from Ashtar, please email paranormalalmanac@gmail.com. Also, if you would like Sean Bishop and myself to tell your paranormal story, again, whether it be a ghost, a UFO, whatever, anything paranormal that's happened to you that I haven't told yet, even if you sent it to me years ago, and you're like, Curt hasn't read it. Okay, well, I can't find it now. It's too deep into the email. So send it again. The Sean Bishop and I will read your stories. Alrighty, up next in paranormal news, UFO Insider claims U.S. has bodies of 4 different alien species from downed spacecraft in government custody. That's right, Dr. Hal Puthoff made the claims on a podcast alongside Age of Disclosure director Dan Farah. That's right. The United States has recovered remains of 4 separate species of alien life. Dr. Hal Puthoff is a CIA-funded researcher and former Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Applications Program advisor, and one person I would love to talk to on my show. He said, given the level of quality of their technology, if they didn't want to be seen, we wouldn't be seeing them. So it seems like I would say there's evidence that for whatever reason, they're wanting to be seen. He went on to claim that the federal officials have recovered 4 separate types of extraterrestrial life from various UFOs. People who have been involved in recoveries have said there are at least 4 different types, 4 separate species. Now, I have not had direct access to that, but I believe the people who I talked to, 4 separate types of life. He did not elaborate on the specific types, but his colleague, Dr. Eric Davis, previously revealed they included Nordics, Greys, insectoids, and reptilians. Now, insectoids, I would say it's more like the praying mantis species. They're the mantoids or mantises. But yeah, those are well-known alien species, extraterrestrial species. The Nordics, the Greys. The Greys, obviously, that's the most well-known. The mantids or mantises and the reptilians. Yeah. They say that citing intelligence reports last year, Davis reportedly claimed that each of the biological life form pulled from supposed UFO wreckage is similar to humans in appearance, since they possess 2 arms and a pair of legs. You know what? I have no problem. There's a reason that these species of aliens have been known since I've been into the UFO community, or the UFO topic since I was a kid. I've always known about the Greys, the Nordics, the reptoids, reptilians, whatever you want to call them, the mantises, whatever you want to call them. I've known them forever. There is a reason that these species keep getting talked about again and again and again and again. And it probably is because that's the kernel of truth. There's also many other ones. You know, there's a lot of different aliens. Maybe I'll do an episode about that one day. All the different types of alien species, in case I haven't done that. I'm not sure if I have. But, yeah, that's crazy. And would not surprise me at all that, look, we recovered something from Roswell, and it was supposedly for small alien beings, the Greys, that the presidents had seen, that Jackie Gleason had seen, that people had talked, you know, like there is a reason that these stories keep coming up again and again and again. And again, I think it's going to be that kernel of truth. Alrighty, analysis of the second batch of UFO files released by the Pentagon. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but Avi Loeb reacted about the new footage. And he said, basically, it's real military footage. Part of a second batch of declassified government files, 51 videos, 7 audio recordings, and previously unseen written accounts. We're going through what's in this release and what, if anything, it may actually prove. And let's see, what does he say? I mean, I don't want to go too deep into it because, like I said, I want to go into these blind. Don't want to hear what other people think about it and see what I can find in there. But yeah, other people are doing the exact same thing that I'm doing, which is going through there and seeing if there's anything new. And if it is, what's new and how far does it move the needle towards disclosure? Alrighty, up next in paranormal news, caught on camera, the second official Loch Ness Monster sighting reported. There's been a handful of sightings. I don't know why it's saying a handful. There's been more than a handful, but apparently there has been a new sighting. Not an Ian O'Fadigan one, sadly, the one, the only, the best Ian O'Fadigan, but another Nessie sighting. Trying to get to it, trying to find it. I can't. It's not in the article. Great article. Why don't you? At least Ian O'Fadigan's has, you know, video evidence. But apparently, yet another sighting. So since it didn't give me the video or even a photo of it, I'm moving on. The most haunted mansion in the state of Massachusetts is up for sale. The S.K. Pierce Mansion is now up for sale to anyone brave enough to live there. I can't remember if I've talked about this one, so I'm just going to go through it real quick, real brief. It's $1.2 million. It's located at 4 West Broadway in Gardner, Massachusetts. The 6,988 square foot home comes with 9 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, and paranormal activity. Nope. There we go. According to Realtor.com, it's the ninth most haunted home in the United States. Let's get to it. Here we go. There's an entity that haunts the basement. Many believe it's Edward refusing to leave the mansion, though it could be other members of the family, as several, including Sylvester, also died in the house. Let's see. Sylvester's youngest son, Edward, took ownership of the home. He turned it into a boarding home, but things went downhill when gambling, prostitution, and perhaps even murder began happening inside the mansion. He lost it in a 1965 poker game. Another of the supposed ghosts is that of Finnish immigrant Eino Sari, who was at one of the boarders in the home in 1963. He died in a fire, and as a result of smoking in bed. Kids, don't do that. Strangely, there are no burn marks on the walls, leading people to believe that he may have actually spontaneously combusted. People visiting the mansion today often report smelling smoke in his room and hearing phantom screams. There's another ghost, possibly a prostitute that was killed in the mansion's red room. She was strangled to death. Both she and her killer are believed to be haunting that room. In 2009, a couple bought the mansion and were forced to sell it because of the hauntings. Now another couple owned the mansion. I want to own this mansion. This sounds cool as hell, man. You got prostitute ghosts and burning people ghosts and other people's ghosts. There's all kinds of ghosts here. I want to go there. I want to own that place. Someone buy that for me. Alrighty, up next in paranormal news. Was Bigfoot spotted again in Ohio? Look, Ohio, we get it. You got Bigfoot. You got a lot of Bigfoot. It's the same news story as the last one that I read to you, which is just, look, there's a Bigfoot. And people are like, yep, that's a Bigfoot. And by that, I mean an actual footprint. So, yeah, sounds like Ohio is still the Bigfoot hotspot of the Midwest. So go there if you want to see a Bigfoot. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Let's get into this episode. We are back. All righty. Yes. I know that I've mentioned this first story before. The Loveland Frogmen. It was a long time ago in an episode about a bunch of cryptids, but damn it, the Loveland Frogmen, not man, deserve their own episode. And today, shockingly, marks a possible date that started it all. That started the Loveland Frogmen's history. So I figured, let's give the Frogmen the episode they rightfully deserve. This entire episode, well, I don't want to say it that way. How am I going to say it? All right, for this first and possibly only one, it's not going to be. There's a couple other stories, but it's majority of this episode. Let's go to Loveland, Ohio. And back to possibly May 25th, 1955, making today, which is May 25th, 2026, the 71st anniversary, maybe. Why maybe, Curt? Well, because it's really hard to nail down a specific date, but I'm going by the majority of the sites with info on the Loveland Frogmen, and most say May 25th. So I figured, let's go with that. Happy Frogman anniversary, everyone. I hope you left, flies out for the frog. I was going to say, what do you leave out for the frogmen? Have to be flies, right? I hope you leave out magic wands and flies for the frogmen. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, don't worry. You'll find out in just a second. You all know how much I love an unnamed witness to a cryptid sighting. And spoiler, here's how this one starts. Maybe? What? More maybes? Don't worry. I'll tell you in a second. Most sites say an unnamed traveling salesman was driving along a dark, quiet stretch of road that runs parallel to the Little Miami River, which is odd because we're in Loveland, Ohio, not Miami, Florida. And that's when this unnamed traveling salesman spotted several strange figures gathered together. He said they were 3 to 4 feet tall, stood upright on their hind legs, had no hair but rather leathery skin. Their hands and feet were webbed and had the head shape and faces of frogs. Boom! You got yourself frogmen. Multiple frogmen. Okay, I needed some more details, though, because it angers me when its unnamed person saw this random thing. And I think I might have found some details. The guy's name might have been Robert Honeycutt. And I say might because that name doesn't appear until, well, the internet, which is a huge grain of salt, but I think I did find the road he was traveling down. It's Hopewell Road, and it makes sense. It has a small bridge. It runs along the Little Miami River. It all checks out. So at least we have a more specific spot where the Loveland Frogmen were seen and a possible name, which it doesn't matter. Unnamed traveling salesman is fine. It's from 1955. Details would have been sketchy at best anyway, but at least I found some details. But here's the thing. That's just the first version of this. This guy, this unnamed traveling salesman, traveling down Hopewell Road, saw 3 or 4 frogmen, basically. Well, the next one is a little bit weirder. And it's a little bit more of the popular one. And I think it's popular for a reason, but I also think the added detail is interesting. You got your businessman driving down Hopewell Road, whatever I said it was called. The hell was the name of the road? Yeah, Hopewell Road. Yep. But this one has a time. He's traveling down there at 3:30 in the morning. But instead of seeing the 3 frogmen on the bridge, this version is 3 or 4 frogmen were huddled under, or, depending where you get your info, over the poorly lit bridge. But wait, I'm not done. In this version, one of the frogmen held a wand over its head, and the wand fired a spray of sparks into the night sky. Why? Who knows? But the eyewitness, possibly named Robert, said the sparks from the wand scared him so much that he had to flee. So, not the 3 or 4 human-sized frog peoples. That you would have been fine with. No, it was the fact that one had a wand. Oh God, what's going on here? Amber Alert has been activated by the Highway Patrol. Someone's missing. Believed to be imminent danger. Okay, stop. All right, I'm talking about frogmen. No, it's not the frogmen. It was the fact that one had a magic wand, and that made him flee. He was like, oh, I can handle frog people, but magic is the work of the devil. All right, get this. Almost every version said the man went straight home and would only talk about the encounter in hushed tones for fear of being thought he was crazy or that he would lose his job. Lose his job? You're a traveling salesman who's coming home at 3:30 in the morning. You could lose that job. It's not the best job. And it's not like traveling salesmen have, I don't think they do. All right, now I don't know this. Do traveling salesmen have an office that they ever had to go to? I don't think so. I guess maybe they do. There's got to be some headquarters. Some main, knife or vacuum headquarters. So, all right, maybe he is afraid of losing his job. All right, get this, though. Some locals said, oh, that was just a case of mistaken identity. And then there is no follow-up on any of the sites. What? What do you mean a case of mistaken identity? Random traveling salesman saw at best 3 to 4 human-sized frog peoples. Was there a family of 4 really ugly people in Loveland at that time that liked to shoot sparks out of their wands on a bridge? What was the mistaken identity? You can't say that and then not follow up at all. And yet, I went down that rabbit hole and there is nothing at the bottom of it. But that's it for the frogmen, right? Oh, no. Because we jump ahead in time. Come on. There we go. To March 3rd, 1972 to be exact. Oh, good. We have a specific known date. I like this. We also have a specific known eyewitness. His name is Officer Ray Shockey, and his story, some think, all but debunks the frogmen? Let's find out together. It's not so much his story, to be honest with you. It's the next guy, but they lump them together. Okay. So again, March 3rd, 1972. A horse with no name was cruising up the radio charts. All in the Family was showing America that racism was still funny, and Officer Shockey was on patrol. Dun-dun-dun. He said he saw what he first thought was a dog by the side of the road. What road? Oh, I know this one too. Riverside Drive / Kemper Road near the Totes Boot Factory and, of course, the Little Miami River. So the same area. Exact same area. Funnily enough, the exact same area from 1955. But as he got closer, as Shockey got closer in his car, the dog stood up on its hind legs. And that's when Shockey said he got a clear look at the creature. It was about 4 feet tall, 50 to 75 pounds, had a frog-like face, was covered in leathery skin, and it then leapt over the guardrail and disappeared into the Little Miami River. Shockey was a little shocky and went back to the police station and filed the first known official report. But I can't find that report anywhere. Every site says he went back and he filed it. There was a Shockey that worked at the police station, so he's real. It happened, but I can't find the report. Okay, remember what I just told you, though. 4 feet tall, had a frog-like face, was covered in leathery skin on its and it was on its hind legs. It then leapt over the guardrail and disappeared in the Little Miami River. Okay, you got that in your head? All right, we're going to move ahead in time, just briefly, though, to 2 weeks later, to another police officer. This officer, Mark Matthews, reported seeing the very same creature in the very same area. That's right, on Kemper Road near the boot factory. That's where he saw something run across the road. He said the creature crawled under the guardrail, and Officer Matthews said he had no clue what it was. He said, "I know no one would believe me, so I shot it." Yep, there we go. When you don't know what something is that's not hurting you or anyone else at all, just start shooting, kids. So he says he shot it and killed it. Yep, he killed the Loveland Frogmen. I need a boo. I need a boo sound effect. I got to add a boo to this because what the heck? It didn't do anything. Boo. Crowd saying boo. Crowd saying boo sound effect. Is it going to make me have to listen to an ad? Probably. That's fine.
Need a ride?
Oh, it
Hertz
is.
has pairings
Screw
for
you, Mando. I don't want to listen to your ad. You got enough money. I don't need you. There we go. He didn't know what it was. Just started shooting, and he shot and killed it. He then recovered the creature's body and put it in his trunk to show Officer Shockey. All right, so what was it then? Well, Officer Matthews says it was a large iguana about 3 or 3.5 feet long, but it was missing his tail, which is why he didn't immediately recognize it. All right, let's pause right there. I said, hold the phone, Officer Matthews. It doesn't match 4 foot tall, frog face, standing, jumping over a guardrail. Doesn't match that. What you saw was a 3 foot tall iguana on 4 legs that went under a guardrail. He said he was confident. This is what Shockey saw, but here's the problem. I Googled, can iguanas run on their hind legs? Oops, no, shut up, Google. I don't want to talk to you. I Googled, can iguanas run on their hind legs without their tails? And the answer is a solid nope. An iguana's long, muscular tail acts as a vital counterbalance. Without it, their center of gravity is thrown off completely, making it impossible to balance their upper body while sprinting upright. Ha-ha! Debunk you, Matthews. So it's not standing on its hind legs. It's definitely not running or leaping over a guardrail. But let's keep going with Officer Shoots-a-Lot Matthews. He defended the shooting, saying, the thing was half dead anyway when I shot it. Uh-huh. And you know this how? No idea, because he doesn't follow that up with anything. I also couldn't find any photos of the dead iguana, which I thought was odd because, again, this was 1972. It wasn't back in 1955. You would think that some newspaper or news channel or police report would have this, photo at the very least of a large, dead, tailless iguana in the back of a police car's trunk. What the hell? Nope, nothing. Not a thing. Anyhow, he said he showed Shockey the dead iguana, and Shockey said, yeah, that's what I saw. Okay, so either Shockey wanted to not be ostracized by the public, which is what I think. Because when you see a frogman, you just started, because again, we checked it, Shockey had started with the police force a year before, or possibly within a year before. So it's either that he didn't want to be ostracized, which is what I think, or he's just terrible at descriptions, But that was the end of the Loveland Frogmen. Until 2016, which in the most obvious hoax imaginable, some teenagers named Sam Jacobs and his unnamed girlfriend, who probably goes to a different school, so you guys just don't know her, they were out playing Pokemon Go, and they said they saw the Frogmen and even took a picture and video of it in the woods behind Beth Adams Synagogue on Loveland Madeira Road on the edge of Lake Isabella. All right, I took a look at this photo. Obviously fake. It's a lot of people online think it's a lawn ornament with light bulbs in the eyes. And you know what? I believe it. I didn't even have to try and find what lawn ornament or what the lawn. No, you look at the photo from 2016 Loveland Frogmen and you go, yeah, that's just bad. That's just fake. Sam and his imaginary girlfriend faked it. Yeah, but that does it for the Frogmen story for real. Yes, it might become the official cryptid of Ohio, fingers crossed. It is one of the most liked patches on my cryptid jean jacket. So the Loveland Frogmen holds a special place in my heart. It really does. I truly, truly hope that, in my mind, it was 3 or 4 with a magic wand shooting sparks up into the sky in the 1950s. A whole new cryptid. But let's go back to 1955. To the Ohio River. To another story that I've told before and one I think might be part of the Frogmen lore. Let's find out together. We go to the hot summer of 1955, August 15th, 1955 to be exact, in Evansville, Indiana. That's where Mrs. Naomi Johnson took her 3 children and a friend named Mrs. Lamble to the Ohio River. If you don't know this story, hold on, I'm about to tell it. If you do know this story, think about it in regards to, again, 1955, pretty close to where Loveland, Ohio was. It's on the Ohio River, which is connected to, it's possible, is all I'm saying. Just keep an open mind. All righty. Naomi and Mrs. Lamble were swimming in the, quote, calm river while the kids relaxed on the shore. Mrs. Lamble, she said she brought a big black rubber inner tube because she wasn't that strong of a swimmer, but Naomi said she was perfectly comfortable in deep waters. They were about 15 feet from the shore when something brushed against Naomi's leg. All right, it's a river, nothing too odd yet, but then, without warning, Naomi said she felt a powerful grip grab her around her knee. She said it felt like a giant, hairy, clawed hand was on her. How does she know it was hairy? No idea, but let's keep going. It then dragged her underwater as she kicked and screamed to escape its grasp, while Mrs. Lamble watched in horror. Way to help, Mrs. Lamble. She just sat there on her inner tube going like, oh, that sounds scary. I'm going to stay out of the water. Naomi said she somehow managed to break free, resurfacing and gasping for air as she reached Mrs. Lamble's inner tube, or, in my hopes, she reached to pull Mrs. Lamble into the water because she's useless. Naomi said the thing struck again, dragging Naomi completely underneath the murky water. Nope, don't like this. Mrs. Lamble screamed, again, doing absolutely fuck all, paddling around in the water as she searched for Naomi again, basically being useless. And again, Naomi manages to escape the thing's grasp and got her head above water. This time, she made it to Mrs. Lamble's inner tube, and when she grabbed it, she said a loud rubbery thump echoed out, and she says she thinks that sound startled the creature into leaving the area. So the two struggled together and make it back to shore, and that's when they notice Naomi's leg was covered in deep scratches where they, when they're out of the water, like where the creature had grabbed her, and bruises were already forming all over Naomi. Mrs. Lamble was completely fine, and I'm sure made the story all about her when she told to everybody, oh, I was in the water. I was on an inner tube, and then it came after Naomi. You didn't do crap, Mrs. Lamble. It's not about you. All right. They saw that Naomi's leg had a large handprint stained green on her skin where the thing had grabbed her, and the green stain was there for days before fading away. Naomi said, "Whatever this thing was, it had a strong grip and was all furry. All I know is I'll never go swimming in that river again." Well, yeah. No one should. Stay the hell out of it. Wow. Look, she never explains how she knows that it was furry. She said the water was murky. She never could see the thing. So how do you know it was furry? I don't see. That's my problem with this one. Could it still be a frogman hand? Possibly. They're green, stained green. Anyhow, Naomi went to the hospital for treatment. Her story was published in a local paper, and it went nationwide. But after it went nationwide, some other local residents came forward, and they claimed they saw a silver disc floating over the Ohio River the very same day. So, does that mean it was an alien? I don't know. A frogman? I don't know. Something furry? I don't know. I keep trying to tell you that. All right. The Johnson family came forward again publicly a while later. They said that a colonel in the U.S. Air Force paid them a visit at their home after the news story went nationwide. The colonel finished questioning the Johnsons about what happened to Naomi, and then told them, in no uncertain terms, to never speak to anyone of her encounter ever again. That monster eventually got a name. It became known as the Green-Clawed Beast. Sure, why not? That seems appropriate. So was it a frogman? Was it something else? Some people think that it could possibly be connected to the Loveland Frogmen, but other people think it might be connected to another well-known cryptid, the Hopkinsville Goblin. Interesting. Now, it could be that because the Hopkinsville Goblin, which I did go into detail on a past episode, so you have to go back and listen to that episode. The Hopkinsville Goblin encounter happened on August 21st, 1955. In Christian County, Kentucky. It's only 83 miles away. But here's my thing. Why can't all three be connected? They all happened around the same time in 1955. You start in Loveland in May. Then it moves with the rivers to Evansville in August. And then downstream to Hopkinsville, Kentucky. That's right. I'm thinking all three could be connected. They're all about 3 feet tall. Look, you just got to put them in a spacesuit for Hopkinsville. She never saw it in the water. Naomi never saw the thing. So why couldn't they all three be the same 1955 3-foot tallish creature? Is there any connection? I don't know. Probably not. But still weird, all the crazy crap that happened in that general area in 1955. Oh, even more connect the dots. Some people think the Dover Demon and the Hopkinsville Goblin are the same. So, yeah, let's keep connecting those cryptid dots. They're all in the same area, all in 1955. What the hell was happening in the Midwest in 1955? And let's get a uniform name, shall we? Alrighty, with that tangent out of the way, let's do another tangent, shall we? For this one, we go to Milton, Kentucky. In the summer of 1975. So we're leaving the 50s behind. We're staying in the same general area, though. That's when the Milton lizard, also known as the creature of Canop Creek. Come on, Curt. Canop Creek, which is a creature described as resembling a 15-foot monitor lizard. That's right, 15 feet long monitor lizard that should not exist anywhere near Kentucky was sighted in Cable Creek, near the town of Milton in Trimble County, Kentucky, in the summer of 1975. The creature was first seen in July by Clarence Tuffy Cable. That's right, his nickname was Tuffy. He was the co-manager of the Bluegrass Body Shop, which is a junk and wrecking yard located north of Milton. He said he was walking through the junkyard when he saw a 15-foot lizard emerge from behind the wrecked vehicles. It hissed at him several times. He said it had big eyes, similar to a frog, connected. Beneath its mouth was an off-white color, and there was black and white stripes crossways of its body and quarter-sized speckles all over it. Then, he wasn't the only one who saw it, because his brother Garrett was the next to see the Milton lizard. On July 27th, while working in the junkyard, he saw a pile of old car hoods begin to vibrate and move as the lizard's head and shoulders emerged from underneath the car hoods. He freaked out. He left to go get his brother. When they returned to the area, you guess it, with guns in hand, the lizard was gone. But the next day, Tuffy, back to Tuffy, he sees the Milton lizard again. But he doesn't have his gun, so what did he do? He throws a rock at it. Why the hell are you throwing a rock at a 15-foot-long lizard? Leave it the hell alone. Get the hell out of there. He says, nope, I threw a rock at it, and the lizard hissed at him and fled into some brush. He then went to get his rifle from his house, ran back to the brush, didn't see a giant 15-foot-long creature, and just started shooting into the brush. He said he wasn't certain. He couldn't be certain he killed the creature. 15 feet long. That's alligator size. You would see it. How thick is this brush? And if it is that thick, get the hell away from it, because there's a possibility of a 15-foot lizard that you've now seen twice in that brush. All right, we're going to cut to early August. A search party scoured the area surrounding the Bluegrass Body Shop for any sign of a lizard. No evidence was found. But the local newspaper, the Trimble Banner, set up another investigation into the sighting. Nothing was found. Tuffy thinks that the lizard, which he said looked similar but not exactly to a monitor lizard, might have been, here's his theory, one of the wrecked cars that he went to acquire in the past from one of the western states, he thinks might have contained eggs of this unknown 15-foot-long, kind of like a monitor lizard, and they hatched in the heat of the junkyard. When the wreckage began to be removed in the spring, he said there's fewer and fewer places where the lizard or lizards could hide, which resulted in all of the sightings of the Milton lizard. All right, possibly. I don't know. All I know is I see one 15-foot lizard in a place where there are no 15-foot lizards. I'm not going back to that place. I don't care if that's my junkyard. And I would never throw a rock at something that's 15 feet long. If you take me to Florida and you show me a crocodile or an alligator, whatever the hell Florida has, the last thing I'm going to do is throw a rock at it. Why are you trying to piss it off, person? Come on, Tuffy. All right, so even though the last ones were more like lizards than frogs, they're all reptile enough and close enough geographically to all be included on this possible anniversary of the Loveland Frogmen's original sighting. Look, again, I want nothing more than to believe in a 3 to 4 foot frog person with a magic wand that's just wandering the Midwest, possibly dragging random women underwater for no apparent reason. I want that to be real. Perhaps getting into a UFO and going back to their home planet and being like, well, these people are nuts, man. They just start shooting at anything that they don't know what the hell it is. Look, I have a genuine fear of murky water for a reason. Hell, I had the biggest fear that Jaws was lurking in every deep end of every pool I have ever been in, even though I know that it is physically impossible for a Jaws-sized shark to be in the deep end, 6-foot deep end of a pool or 8-foot deep end of a pool. There's no possible way that could ever happen. Anytime I'm in a pool by myself, especially if it's nighttime. Oh, phew, if it's nighttime, I know there's a Jaws in that pool. I know it. I have a healthy fear of water. You just never know what's underwater. Murky water? Oh, hell no. Anything brushes my foot, I'm thinking it's a furry claw and I got to get the fuck out. Unless it's Nessie. Because you know what? I would totally swim in Loch Ness without a fear of Nessie. So yeah, another reason for not a monster. I would swim in Loch Ness at night and not fear Nessie. I'd fear everything else under there that's not Nessie. But Nessie? Nope. I got no problem with that. I'll swim with Nessie anytime, any place. I would swim with Nessie before I would ever go in the Ohio River, just because one woman got grabbed around her thigh or leg or knee or whatever, and there was a green handprint, and people saw that, and Mrs. Lamble did crap all. I would swim in Loch Ness before I would ever swim in the Ohio River, which leads me to question you now. Have you ever swam in the Ohio River? And if so, is this a regular thing? Are things just grabbing people in Ohio rivers? Is that what happens in Ohio's river? I don't know. But if so, stay the fuck out of that river, man. Why are you people going in rivers where there's monsters? Real monsters, not like Nessie, but actual clawed hand, grabbing you, pulling you under, trying to drown you kind of monsters. That's craziness. That's not cool. I don't like those. That's a monster. That deserves the title monster. It tried to kill a woman. Nessie never did crap. Loveland Frogmen never did anything. Tried to show you the wonder of magic. All it tried to do was be like, look, I've got a sparkler magic wand. And this guy was like, well, we better shoot it. I don't know what it was, but we better shoot it. All I know is it was sick and needed to be shot. Oh, once again, I'm your host, Curt Sammy. This has been another episode of Paranormal Almanac. Thank you very much. I love you. It's not about I'm Garf Nilvalo. It's not Garf Nilvalo. Squish.